Hey, what's up guys? I'm fast forwarding here. I'm not sure when this clip is gonna get inserted into the project series. I've been super busy lately with a ton of different things, and I have been tinkering on the Prelude. It's been hard to get things done as well as recorded at the same time. I mean, I don't do this recording part for a living by any means, so I'm just getting started, and I do want to share this stuff with you. So let's go ahead and focus on the car, and I'll show you what I have gotten done so far. It's pretty cool. So as you can see, a few things got painted and a few things got cleaned up. We're looking a lot better under the hood here of Project Prelude. It was just fun to go ahead and spray the horns red. Then I went ahead and did a bracket delete, and I used some chrome hardware. I got the valve cover looking way better than that pink did. It didn't turn out perfect, but obviously that pink was nowhere near satisfactory. A lot of things got cleaned up. I was just wiping down as much as I could. Some of the plugs over here, the caps. I did remove the power steering reservoir. Looks like I gotta get a rag down there quick. And that's sitting over here for now. I am gonna put the power steering pump on, but somehow in the process, I got one bolt in here from the junkyard, and I mean, I know myself, and that other bolt would be in there if it was there at the junkyard. Either that or it fell out. I went through all the other ones I have, and there's not really a match to that guy. Maybe it'll pop up. I did just find one of those bolts down in the crevice in here. Also got these reservoir caps painted. You can see I gotta wipe it up still. Just a little bit of that pink overspray from when someone had carelessly painted these caps. So now they're looking nice and red and fresh. I am super excited about the way this is turning out. Currently, I'm working on the idle issue. It does run, it does start and run. The battery's in need of a jump start, but this valve under here needs to come off and get cleaned out. And it's got a spring-loaded ball valve in there. And that needs to be very clean and clear in order for this thing to idle properly. And that's the first thing to check. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and I hope it solves the problem of the idle surge, which is super common in a lot of Honda motors. Project Prelude aside for 1 second, I've been doing a lot of reorganizing in the garage. I don't know if you guys have seen these shelves yet. I don't know if you've seen, I got the SR motor pulled out, and the 240 is actually away from the wall. I've got some parts over here on the bench, and so I've got plenty of room to walk through here and work. And we're gonna be getting started on this Deuce hatch. This is coming up really soon. All right guys, so there it is, I got it out. I don't even remember the exact name for this, but let's go ahead and tear this apart. All we gotta do is take these two screws off, and you can see in here, if you shake it around, there is a piece that needs to get screwed back into place. It's hopefully going to be that simple. So we'll just take our screwdriver here, crack these loose, and see what's inside. 1 and 2. Probably just slide that out of the way. All right, and I'll tell you right now, I've heard this O-ring is hard to find, so I think ours should be in okay shape. And then there's this part here that it is screwed way out, and so it's super loose, and this ball is kind of stuck. It's supposed to be spring loaded and easy to move. As we pull this out, this controls kind of how much air can go in. There we go. And then we're just gonna clean this out and put it back together. This is the spring-loaded assembly that, yeah, that's all dirty. There's not a lot of gunk in it, but I do think this was just entirely too loose. Put some Loctite on here, obviously, since it did come loose once, and then screw it down all the way until it's seated at the bottom. And that is essentially your lowest setting for idle But I'm gonna get this cleaned up and put back together nice and get it back installed on the car. And hopefully this will fix our idle surge problem. I would be super excited. Now, as you can tell, once we got it all put back together, that fitting in there, that threaded part, goes way farther in. Before it was completely loose, and now we've got a freshly lubed, spring-loaded idle controller here. We're going to install this piece back on the car. All right, something went funny with the time lapse. I know you couldn't see a lot of what I was doing anyway, so I'm gonna give you a close-up. You can see here is the mechanism that we had off the car, and then everything else I was messing with was just reconnecting these vacuum lines like this. This line is actually a coolant line, while this line is the vacuum line. And if we had the stock cold air intake, that's where this would connect to. But since we don't have that, I'm just gonna block it off like so. We gotta reconnect this vacuum line over here. And I think I got everything else hooked up. I got this hooked up here. Part of the hose was bulged, and so I cut a little bit off so that there was no bulging parts and everything was as strong as it could be. It really just kind of tucked this hose in a little closer, but it's not touching anything, so I'm super comfortable with that. Things are going along nicely. I'm just gonna get it finished up. All right, so I gotta put the phone back on the charger. I'll give you a quick update before I do that. I got the cold air intake back on. I got everything plugged back in just the way that it should be as far as I can tell. Next time I'm gonna have to figure out what this sensor is down here, because both those wires are clipped. I think it has something to do with, oh, there's another open vacuum deal. I gotta figure that out right there. And then I think that sensor might have something to do with the cooling fan wires, which are both gonna have to get hooked up. But back to the update. Everything's going smooth. I'm getting ready to put this cover back on. It goes here to cover this wire. And then I'm still working on the power steering. In the meantime, I took the reservoir out and I got all this area cleaned up. I am gonna have to replace the engine mount here. You can see it's totally shot. And I figure when I pull that out, I'll be able to clean some more down in there. But I was able to kind of rub this bolt out and then get that bolt clean, and all, just wherever I could reach with my fingers, got cleaned up. And that's how it's been going all through here. I was also able to find two, I know I got all the hardware I need now. I think this came with the car, but this was like a ghetto version of what's actually needed, which is, you can see that fitting is somewhat the same. And then this bolt over here, that's where that goes, like that. And I was able to find two matching bolts for these locations here. All right, so I don't think I got video of the Prelude doing its idle surge, where it would run and the RPMs would bounce. and they would just kind of go burn, 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 and that's called idle surge. And so that's exactly what mine was doing. I took that part off, I got it put back on. Now I've got it hooked up here because the battery is junk. I must have to get a new battery or something. But we've got the jumper cables hooked up to the truck. Got them hooked over here to the Prelude. I did not get the power steering on yet or the cover here, but I did get all of the starting mechanisms put back into place. And I think I got all the vacuums blocked off and all that stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a try on the startup. Earlier today, I went ahead and changed out all the fuses to be the correct amperage. They had like all 30s in there. Someone just bought like a pack of 30s and then put them in there in almost every slot. And so I knew that wasn't right, wanted to get it right. All the details are where it comes together. I think I still have one small detail here. There's a ground that can get attached here. Go ahead and do that. But let's see if this thing will start up. I think maybe it will. It has every other time. It just has that surge. So hopefully this time it won't have that surge. Let's see. Oh, fuel pump. I got fuel pump. Okay. And oh shit, radio works. Radio works. I was playing with it earlier. Nice. Last time we did a video. All right, so here we go. Oh, oh, oh! Woo! Oh, it's looking good. Oh, oh! Oh, yes! Yes! Oh my God, yes! Thank God. Oh, whatever I did today, where are we at? I let the clutch out. Oh, that's a little vibration. We're chilling right at about, what is it, 1250, 1300 RPM. And so, I mean, this thing is cold. Oh, we got check engine light. You're gonna have to get that checked out. But there's a few more things to get checked out. I don't want to let this run too long. Give it a couple of... Oh, I am so happy and thankful and grateful and blessed. This thing, I guarantee you when it warms up, this thing will idle below 1,000. Look at that, it's already going down a little bit. All right, I'm gonna shut it off though and just be super grateful. Oh yes, I love it when some hard work pays off. You do things right and then that's when you get results. So make sure that whenever you attempt a project, you go for it with the end in mind. The end result is in your head as you're doing the work to get it done. Like you just start with the end in mind. That's just a tip of the day. Always got to stay positive. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but today it did, and that makes me super excited. So I'm glad you guys were here to check it out. Obviously, we know that it goes good, so there's more things to get done. I got to make sure it's got coolant, and then as you saw earlier, the radiator fans are not hooked up to any power at all. They were so jank before, I had to just cut them, and I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out the right way, because that's the way we do it in the handyman life. Working hard, not hardly working. I'm glad you guys are here for the ride. So let's get to the next step as soon as we can, and I'll show you what that is. So one of the things I noticed was that the harness here for this horn, I need to solder this wire back together and plug the horn back in, and then I'm going to retest the horn in the car, because when I clicked it before, it just, that's all it did, it clicked. Something was clicking underneath the dash, and I'm wondering if it's because of this harness break here. Let's get that taken care of, see if it fixes the problem. Alright, so the test run on the horns was unsuccessful, but then I had a thought that the horn harness here is probably directly connected to the headlight harnesses and over here too. And so let's see, these guys, and so we got to get all this figured out in the headlights and the turn signals and the fog lights. But before we get into all that wiring, I think we should finish up the power steering pump. Everything's here. I've got it kind of in place down here, and I'm just working on getting the last little bit of hardware put together. There's a bolt that goes through here, and then it attaches at the top there. So let's get that put on. Alright, so there's a cover that goes on the valve cover right there, and it's this plastic piece, and it was kind of broken. It was very brittle when I took this off at the junkyard, and so it broke in a couple spots. But as you can see, I was able to super glue it back together, and then I added a layer of epoxy over that, and this thing is super strong. I don't think it's gonna break in that same spot again. Like, I'm really comfortable with that. I'm twisting this. And then same down here. This wasn't too bad, but you can see the seam line crack. It was right here. And so I super glued that. I'm not sure what happened to this piece over here. So it's not gonna be perfect, but it's gonna be better than none. And we're gonna go ahead and put this on. All right, with a little bit of effort, I was able to get that piece on. It's all clicked into place. It looks good. This piece did end up re-breaking again. What do you do? Like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but it's better than none, and it's looking good. I got the power steering all hooked up. Everything is tight, tensioned, ready to rock. I did have to do one band-aid for now right here. This hose on the back side is like completely split down the length of the fitting here, and so I went ahead and I used some, obviously, duct tape and a couple of clamps in some precision locations in order to avoid any leaks while I test the power steering. And so the belt is on. I filled up the reservoir, which I attached. Everything is looking new and clean. I'm loving it. The Prelude has power steering again. I do believe we're gonna have to test it. Not sure if I should do that tonight yet. It's about 10. I am very tempted. The truck is still here. I could jump start it and get some pump action going and see if I need to add some more fluid, which I do have a little bit more. Luckily, I had some power steering fluid on hand. Oh, let's see how we do. All right, I hooked the jumper cables back up. We're gonna go ahead and test this power steering quick. Might as well. I think I got everything hooked up properly. Just give it a quick double check. I got a piece of cardboard underneath in case something else is loose that we didn't know about. The belt is tight, lid is on, all the fittings are in place. Everything is good. I think this is good. Let's see what we got belt clearance. Like, even though this engine mount is shot, like, I don't think we're gonna hit anything on that belt. So let's see what happens. Aren't any major leaks that I can see. makes a little bit of noise, but that power steering works. We just got to get some more fluid in there or something, or just cycle it a few more times. All right, guys, so I'm super stoked. I set off today with a mission to get the idle issue fixed on the Prelude, as well as put the power steering pump back into play. And I've accomplished both of those things. I'm super happy that everything kind of went according to plan, and it did take obviously a bit longer than it might a automotive technician who works on these things every single day. And so as I went along, I've been matching up bolts and making sure things match and making sure things look factory across the board, and I think it's really coming together nice. I'm extremely happy with the way it's turning out. It purrs like a kitten now. It idles good, the power steering works, and I just started it up again, and the noise that you heard in the previous part of the video went away. I'm super excited about that. Definitely still whines a little bit when you turn it in place. You know, I mean, a lot of older cars will do that. I'm not sure exactly how to get rid of that. It's probably the fact that even though I added a full quart of clean power steering fluid to the system, when the reservoir filled back up, I can see it now, it's clearly unclear. It's pretty dirty. I mean, I thought power steering fluid was supposed to be red, to be honest, and the O'Reilly power steering fluid that I just poured in is more clear, and so hopefully it's compatible and it works good and it'll be okay. So far I don't have any leaks at all, so now I've started up twice. Next thing to do would be to just take it around the block. However, the front bumper and the headlights and stuff are not fully attached. We got to make sure that those are in place, and I actually want to get all the lights working, and then that way I won't feel so bad about fully bolting everything on. That's going to be the next step. We got to get the electric fans hooked to the relay and the headlights and the turn signals and fog lights and all that working properly. And I think the first start to that would be to finally get a new battery for Project Prelude, because the one that's in it, having to jump start it from the truck every time, that's not ideal. I got to get a new battery so that we can properly test this. I think it might actually rain. It's time to put everything away. So thanks for tuning in, and we're going to catch you guys next time. Remember, follow me on Instagram at The Handyman Life, and like and subscribe to the channel. I got more good content coming your way. Peace. Train park.
Oh, yeah.
You like all the lights, Stella? We got Nate and Kaylee in the back. What's up, guys? We are enjoying our time out here. It's beautiful weather.
What's up, guys?
All the lights are fun. Yeah, do you like the lights?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. Say, I'm so happy. Say, I'm so happy.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
Say, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited.
Let's look at the lights some more.